Hey everyone, welcome back to VeloView. Today I'm going to take you through a full, detailed review of the 2026 Citroën C5 Aircross, with a special focus on its suspension and shock absorption system, because this is one of the main highlights of the car and something that really sets it apart from a lot of its competitors. The Citroën brand has always been known for comfort and innovation in ride quality, and the 2026 model year continues that tradition with some impressive upgrades, fine-tuning, and attention to detail. This won't be a quick overview, but a full deep dive into the way it feels, how it works, and whether it really delivers on what Citroën promises. The first thing you notice when driving or even riding in the new C5 Aircross is how smooth the suspension feels. Citroën has equipped it with its progressive hydraulic cushions, sometimes referred to as the PHC system, which is an evolution of their past suspension innovations. The idea behind this technology is to replace the traditional bump stops with hydraulic cushions that absorb and dissipate energy more effectively. Instead of the shock being transmitted harshly through the car, the suspension progressively dampens the impact so that you feel less of it inside the cabin. The effect is most noticeable on rougher surfaces, potholes, and speed bumps, where the car seems to glide over imperfections that would normally unsettle a traditional suspension system. This works in harmony with the chassis tuning that Citroën has put a lot of effort into for the 2026 model. They describe it as professional SUV chassis tuning, and while that sounds like marketing jargon, the reality is that it makes a noticeable difference in everyday driving. The suspension doesn't just soften bumps but also maintains stability during high-speed cruising and cornering. You get the feeling that the car is built to absorb punishment from the road without sacrificing the overall composure that's necessary for safety and driver confidence. The balance between comfort and control is something Citroën clearly wanted to get right, and for the most part they have. The physical dimensions of the car also play a role in how it rides. The 2026 C5 Aircross measures about 4,510 mm in length, 1,860 mm in width, and 1,705 mm in height, with a wheelbase of 2,730 mm. That long wheelbase is a huge advantage for ride comfort because it reduces the pitching motion you sometimes feel on shorter vehicles when crossing uneven terrain. Combined with 18-inch wheels wrapped in 225 55ths R18 tires, the balance is set up in such a way that you get enough cushioning from the tire sidewalls without making the handling feel overly soft or imprecise. Now when it comes to the driving experience, the suspension is only part of the story. Under the hood, there are two main engine options depending on the trim you go for. The 360 THP variant is powered by a 1.6-liter turbocharged petrol engine producing around 175 horsepower and 250 Nm of torque, while the higher 400 THP variant has a 1.8-liter turbo pushing out about 211 horsepower and 300 Nm. Both engines are paired with an 8-speed automatic transmission. The reason this matters in a review about suspension is that more power means more load shifts and more demand on the suspension system, especially under acceleration, braking, and cornering. The adaptive nature of Citroën's suspension technology ensures that the car remains comfortable even when pushed, though of course it isn't designed to be a sporty SUV that hugs corners aggressively. One thing that deserves special mention is the difference in suspension layout between the front and the rear. The front end uses a standard independent McPherson strut system, while the rear sticks with a torsion beam non-independent design. This choice may raise eyebrows because many premium SUVs in this segment use fully independent rear suspensions for better comfort and control. The torsion beam is simpler, lighter, and more cost-effective, but it can mean that on extremely uneven roads or when one rear wheel hits a bump, the other side of the car feels it too. However, the hydraulic cushion technology goes a long way in reducing the harshness, and for most typical driving conditions you won't notice a major drawback unless you're really pushing the car on difficult terrain. Inside the cabin, the emphasis on comfort continues. The Citroën Advanced Comfort seats are designed not only to provide ergonomic support but also to complement the suspension by absorbing vibrations before they reach the passengers. On longer journeys this makes a significant difference, because even minor vibrations add up over time. Road noise and wind noise are also impressively controlled in the 2026 model, making the whole ride feel calmer and more refined. Steering feel is tuned to be light and easy around town but more weighted on the highway, giving you the sense of security you need at higher speeds. Now let's talk about the pros and cons of this suspension system in real-world use. On the positive side, the car delivers a genuinely comfortable and refined ride that makes it stand out in the crowded midsize SUV segment. It smooths out urban imperfections like speed breakers, cobblestones, and potholes with ease, and it maintains composure on highways even at speed. It is a car designed with passengers in mind, and that's clear the moment you get behind the wheel. The drawbacks are mostly related to trade-offs inherent in the design. The torsion beam rear suspension, while adequate, can't match the sophistication of a fully independent rear setup, especially on very rough or uneven terrain. Body roll is also noticeable when you take sharper corners at speed, reminding you that this SUV prioritizes comfort over sportiness. And because the suspension technology is advanced, maintenance and repairs may be more expensive than traditional systems once the car ages. Fuel efficiency is reasonable for the class, though the more powerful 1.8-liter variant does consume more due to the additional output. The weight of the car, along with all the added comfort systems, also means it won't be the most economical option out there, but Citroën buyers are usually more concerned about ride quality than absolute fuel savings. Overall, the 2026 Citroën C5 Aircross with its hydraulic shock absorption system is one of the most comfort-focused SUVs you can buy in its class. It doesn't try to be a sporty crossover, it doesn't try to be an off-roader, but it excels at providing a calm, smooth, and cushioned ride that makes daily driving and long-distance cruising genuinely enjoyable. If you value comfort above all else, if you often drive on roads that are less than perfect, or if you simply want a car that prioritizes passenger well-being, then this is a vehicle worth serious consideration. It's not without compromises, but Citroën's suspension technology really does deliver something unique that you won't find in many other SUVs at this price point. Thanks for sticking around through this full review of the 2026 Citroën C5 Aircross and its shock absorption system. If you enjoyed this video and want more in-depth reviews like this one, don't forget to subscribe to my channel VeloView for more automotive insights, comparisons, and deep dives into the cars that matter most.